Most of us have experienced that moment, or at least seen it somewhere. You stand in front of a mirror with a 6-month-old baby in your arms. The baby looks at the reflection, their eyes widen. They reach out, hit the mirror, and giggle joyfully. For us adults, this is an incredibly ordinary, sweet moment. We look in the mirror, fix our hair, and smile at the baby's cuteness. But what about that baby? Have you ever wondered what is going on in the baby's mind in that fleeting moment? Let me tell you something. When that baby looks in the mirror, they don't see themselves. Actually, in the first months of human life, mirrors are one of the greatest illusions of psychology and the human mind. What happens in front of that mirror isn't just a sweet game. It's a fascinating laboratory experiment showing how human consciousness and identity construction are formed. Today, we're going to look into the mirror through the eyes of a baby. We will examine step by step what babies actually see, why they try to look behind the mirror, and how that piece of glass reveals that great secret in human psychology. Grab your coffee and sit back, because we're taking a little journey into the dark rooms of the human mind. Before continuing with the video, you can like the video and follow me to support me and ensure more videos come. Don't hesitate to mention the points you are curious about in the comments. Let's continue then. Part 1. The Stranger in a Blurry World, 0 to 4 months. Let's start the story from the very beginning, right after birth. When we adults look in the mirror, we see clear lines, colors, and depth. Our minds instantly process that the image is a reflection. However, a newborn baby's brain and eyes do not have this hardware yet. For the first few months, baby's vision is quite poor. They can watch the world as if from behind thick frosted glass. They can only focus on objects about 20 to 30 centimeters away from their faces. This distance is no coincidence. It is the average distance between the mother's face and the baby's eyes during breastfeeding or feeding. This wonderful design ensures that the baby focuses only on the most important thing: the person looking at them, caring for them, namely the mother. If you put a baby in front of a mirror during this period, what they see is not themselves. They only see high-contrast shapes, plays of light, and moving blurry silhouettes. When the baby looks in the mirror, their mind focuses on the shiny frame of the mirror, the light reflecting from the room, or any moving object. When the baby catches a shape resembling eyes and a mouth in that blurry image in the mirror, their attention locks onto it. What they see is not an eye, but a complete stranger who shares the same environment with them, looks at them, yet is equally interesting. This is one of the brain's most basic survival reflexes. Find other people and connect with them. Part 2. The Playmate Behind the Glass, 5 to 14 months. Time progresses. When the baby is 5-6 months old, things start to get much more interesting. Their eyesight has cleared, and their brain has become highly developed in processing social signals. Now you have a social being in front of you, smiling at the surroundings and making sounds. In this period, when you put the baby in front of the mirror, their reactions change completely. They smile at the baby in the mirror, wave their hands, and coo as if talking to them. Sometimes they even reach out to the mirror and try to kiss that cold surface. Very sweet, isn't it? But why do they do this? Because their mind gives them a very clear message. There's another baby in front of you who wants to play with you, smiling at you. For a baby at this age, a mirror is not a reflective surface, but like a window opening to another dimension. Behind that glass lives a highly compatible and fun friend who imitates their movements. In psychology, this situation is known as the social responsiveness stage. The baby perceives the image in the mirror as another living being entirely independent of themselves. There is even a very common behavior in this period. The baby tries to touch their friend in the mirror, and when they can't, they stretch their head and look behind the mirror. They think, "Where is this kid hiding?" The basis of this behavior lies in the development of the object permanence concept mentioned by the famous developmental psychologist Jean Piaget. The baby has now begun to learn that things that exist do not disappear. They can hide somewhere. They have a solid belief that the image in the mirror is also a real baby hiding somewhere, probably just behind the glass. Part 3. The Awakening of Consciousness and the Red Dot Experiment, 15 to 18 months. Here we are at one of the most critical, mysterious breaking points in human psychology. The baby who has played with that mysterious friend in the mirror for months slowly begins to put the pieces together in their mind. Their movements are synchronized with the one in the mirror. When they raise their hand, the one in the mirror raises it. When they laugh, the other laughs too. There is an interesting test used in the history of psychology to measure this moment of awakening, the red dot experiment, or originally the Rouge test. Developed in the 1970s by psychologist Gordon Gallup Jr., this test was invented to understand whether a living being has a sense of self. The experiment is extremely simple. A red dye is applied to the tip of the baby's nose or forehead in a way they won't feel. Then the baby is left in front of the mirror. Babies younger than 15 months, meaning those who still think the one in the mirror is someone else, see the red dot when they look in the mirror and immediately try to touch the nose of the baby in the mirror. They think, oh, this friend has something on their nose. However, when the baby reaches between 15 and 24 months, that incredible psychological leap occurs. They look in the mirror, see the red dot, and instead of touching the mirror, they touch their own nose. The baby is no longer just a passive creature experiencing the world. They have now comprehended the truth. I am here, and that stranger I see in the mirror is actually me. Psychologists consider this moment as the moment the human mind literally wakes up. Interestingly, very few animals among millions of species in nature can pass this red dot test. Dolphins, chimpanzees, elephants, and some bird species, just like an 18-month-old human infant, recognize themselves when they look in the mirror. Your dogs or cats, on the other hand, can never pass this test. For them, the one in the mirror is always an enemy or a stranger. Part 4. The burden brought by the concept of I, 24 months and beyond. So, why is it so important for the baby to recognize themselves in the mirror? Is this merely a physical awareness? Absolutely not. This confrontation in the mirror means the rewriting of the baby's entire social and emotional life. Some psychodynamic theorists suggest that in the early stages of their lives, babies feel there is no boundary between themselves and the world. The baby perceives their mother, their crib, their toys, and the universe as an extension of themselves, a single whole. There is no concept of I and the other. However, the moment they feel that red dot in the mirror on their own nose, this sense of wholeness in the mind shatters. The baby realizes that they are an independent individual, separate from the rest of the universe with boundaries. This awakening is a very powerful realization, but it also opens the door to new and complex emotions. The moment self-awareness develops, feelings we call secondary emotions or social emotions in psychology begin to emerge. The child begins to feel much deeper human emotions such as shame, pride, guilt, and empathy. A child who understands that their image in the mirror belongs to them begins to grasp that others also have their own bodies and emotions. The instinct to feel sad for someone else when they cry or the act of sharing a toy sprouts from the me and others logic established in this mirror phase. If you cannot recognize yourself, you cannot fully understand someone else's feelings either. Part 5. The lasting effect of mirrors on humans. Today, as adults, we look in mirrors almost every day. We encounter our reflection while washing our faces, brushing our teeth, or waiting in the elevator. We have long forgotten the astonishment of that first 18-month period. However, deep in our minds, that psychological weight, represented by the mirror, still remains. Have you ever wondered why sometimes when you look in the mirror for a long time in dim light, you feel your face change and become alienated from your reflection? In psychology, this is called the mirror illusion, or Troxler's fading. When our minds focus on our reflection in the mirror for a long time, we can briefly lose the reality that that image is actually us. The brain reverts to its old settings, meaning that feeling of, this is a stranger in front of me from those first 6 months. This is the real subconscious reason why thriller movies use mirrors so often. The human mind instinctively fears the idea that its reflection in the mirror might belong to someone else. The next time you stand in front of a mirror with a baby in your arms, look at that brief moment with a different eye. Do not see the baby smiling at the reflection and hitting the glass just as a sweet game. There, you are watching the construction of human consciousness in its purest form. You're witnessing a brain's search for identity, its effort to say, I am here and this is me. This is one of the most impressive stories of human nature lying behind an ordinary piece of glass. What was your baby's or the babies around you first reaction when they looked in the mirror? Were they the ones who tried to look behind the mirror, or just the ones who smiled at the reflection? Or did they make a different move? I would love to read those stories in the comments. If you enjoyed learning these hidden psychological reasons beneath human behavior and solving such intriguing secrets, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Lastly, to emphasize, what I have explained here is based solely on research and observations. It does not carry absolute truth. Let's evaluate the information in the video accordingly. See you in the next video. Enjoy watching.